thank you for joining. My name is Danielle Wicks from John Bead, and today we're going to be doing a Art Deco fan necklace using the John Bead Czech seed beads and Superduo beads. And this class is going to be recorded. You can drop questions in the chat, but everybody's on mute, so that we'll be able to hear. And there is going to be a replay. It's again being recorded, so you can watch it again. That'll probably be up tonight or tomorrow. And let's see, any questions you have, go ahead and just drop those in the chat, and we'll try to answer them either during class or in a post afterward. Okay, so I'm going to introduce the materials and the project one more time. This is made from Superduos and 2 different sizes of seed beads. So the first seed bead size is a size 6, going around the side and on the chain. And then there are size 10 seed beads here in the center. And if you only have 11s handy, you can use 11s. In fact, this one's using 11s and then this one's using 10s. So use what you have, but the Superduo beads, size 6 and size 10 or 11s should be all you need. And we're going to be using the Wildfire beading thread. This is 0.006 and some size 10 hard beading needles. And so I think that's everything. I'm going to go ahead and switch down to my camera here. And so here's a closer view of the project. How's that looking? All right. So this is it's an easy project. It has one 3D element. And I was going to introduce that really quick and explain what I'm going to do. So if you see here, the end result is you get some of the Superduo beads will be sitting upright, and some of the Superduo beads will stay flat. You'll build a fan off of the flat ones, and then we'll come around to the top holes of the ones that were sticking up and do a circle. To me, it looks like a flower. It could be with different colors. You could play with making it look more like a springtime flower. You can also have it be you know, any style you want, but it's so 1920s fun that I thought Art Deco would be a great name for it. And so the colors, again, you can use any colors you like. The colors I'm using for today's build are going to be the this pink suede metallic. That's this one here. And I'm going to use this matte copper. And this is amethyst. And then for my size 10s, I'll be pulling in a size 10 brown, iris brown. You can also use 11 for those. Okay, so there is a handout. So any steps here that aren't clear, the handout has an illustration. But I'm going to go ahead and go over building it twice. Then we'll finish a necklace, and then I have another sample where I can do this detail work again, so you can get to see that twice as well. So starting with the beading thread, I'm going to cut 55 inches. And pretty consistently when I've been making these samples, the result with 55 inches is you'll get one side of the chain done. So you'll finish the whole fan and one side of a chain before you have to add thread. I've been adding thread here after creating one chain, coming along, creating the second chain. So we will also go through how to do that today too. Okay, so about 55 inches of the beading thread. And then I'm going to get my beading needles out. What I'm using today are, again, the size 10 hard beading needles. And if you're having trouble threading it, like I am there, just go ahead and flatten the thread with either your fingernail or some chainless pliers. Also works really great. Go ahead and thread that. And also try spinning the needle too, so that the eye is facing a different direction. Again, that's one thing that I've noticed helps too. Okay. And then pull down about 7 inches or so, fold over. This is worked on a single strand. And I'm going to start with the metallic copper, or the matte metallic copper. So these bead tubes, they're a little tight. If you're having trouble opening one, you can use chain nose pliers again to open them. Okay. So we're going to pick up and string 13 Superduos. It doesn't matter which hole. So just whichever one you can get with a needle. Got 3 there. Oops. 5. 5 more. Okay. So bring them down to leave about 15 to 18 inches of tail. And a good way to measure that without having to pull out a measuring is to use your bead mat. So 15 to 18 inches of tail. And then go ahead and turn and go back through all the Superduo beads again through the same hole. One more here. There we go. Okay, pull tight. And now what you'll want to do is go through one more. Okay. And now I'm going to hold the tail thread, which is this thread right here, and the working thread, and pull, tighten this. Okay. So it'll form a ring, and you'll notice they're bunching up. What we're going for here is having some of them be up and some of them be down. So you'll have, I believe it was 7 that will still be up. And as we're going around building the fan, that'll just happen naturally. I'll show you how to do that now. I'm switching colors to the, it looks like kind of a matte purple to me, but it's called Pink Suede Metallic. Really a velvety purple to me. Gorgeous, gorgeous color. Okay, so my thread is exiting from that last Superduo bead on this side. This is my working thread. I'm going to turn and go through the top hole of the same bead. Okay, and next I'm going to want to pick up 2 Superduos. And here's where you want to make sure everything is lining up properly. So I'm exiting from this one. I know I want to skip a Superduo and go through the next one. So I'm going to help this one go up and help the other one go down. Everybody see that? So this one's staying up and I'm going to skip it and I'm going to go through the next one. And pull tight. And so this one's staying up and that one's down. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to help this one be the one I skip and the next one be the one I stitch through. And again, picking up 2 Superduos and going through the next bead. And this is the only even remotely tricky part of the build. The rest of it is super easy and it's just like the earrings where you're just kind of following the pattern around. So here you see I've got one here. I'm going to push that one up, bring the next one down. There we go. And pick up 2 more. And go through. Okay. Pick up 2 more. And I'm going to help this one go up and go through the next one. And make sure, so you see how this one was going to tuck under. Make sure the hole, the top hole of the Superduo that is becoming your up bead, make sure it doesn't get tucked down. So there, that one go back up. There we go. Okay. So far so good. And got 2 more. And again, I'm going to move this one to be the up bead and go through the next one. Okay, there's that. And so here, this is going to be the next bead. And I have 1 more to go through. So picking up 2 more and going through here. So the top, there'll be 2 down beads, and there won't be an up bead in between them. That's exactly what you want it to look like. So these 2 are down beads. There's nothing in between them as an up bead. That'll end up being that center part of the fan here. See? So once you've got that, just tighten everything up a little bit. Make sure it's snug. And don't worry, I will go through that one more time. I'm going to set this one aside and we will come back to it. We'll just do that one more time because that is the only tricky part. The rest of this is just smooth sailing. So I'm grabbing more thread. This is the 0.006 Wildfire. And I'm going to cut a little less from this example here, but usually you would cut 55 inches of beading thread to give you lots of wiggle room for making the first side, and then we'll show you how to add thread to make the second side of the chain. And so size 10 Hearn beading needles, that's these guys here. You could also use a 12. So I wanted to throw that out there in case anyone is interested in using a 12. That's also really great. The 10s are what I'm using here, and they work fine. Flattened this. I actually kind of flattened it a lot this time. I used, let's see. Yeah, I might use chain nose pliers for this one. There we go. I debated pre-doing these, but I wanted to show everyone that threading the needle is challenging. And so what I'm doing here is I'm continuing to flatten it, moving further down the thread, turn. But with Superduos, I didn't really want to use a really big needle. There we go. There we go. Okay. Once it's through, it'll be a tight fit. Got it. Yay. I might have gotten a tight needle here. Bringing in the pliers. Okay. At least this way I know I won't be losing my needle. Okay. Sorry about that. So let's start with a different color this time, just to change it up a little bit. I'm going to pick up 13 Superduo beads. 2, 3, 4. Okay, there's 5 more. And then 3 more for 13. Woo! And 3, okay. 10 and 13, okay. Turn and go through all of the beads again. So this is my tail side. I'm going to turn and go through all the beads again. Okay. And get them as close as you can. And then go ahead and go through 1 more bead. and pull tight. And again, there's going to be some that just naturally pop up. And don't worry too much about which ones are doing that just yet, because we're gonna end up helping them along. But I'm exiting from this side of this Superduo bead from the bottom hole, and I'm gonna turn and go through the top hole of that same bead. So I'll be heading the other direction now. And I'm gonna go ahead and move the tail out of the way. It's this thread here. Pick up 2 Superduos, skip a Superduo bead, and go through the next one. But as I'm doing that, I want to make sure that the Superduo I'm skipping is facing up. And go through the next one. And so there's 2 Superduo beads. I'm picking up 2 more. I'm going to skip a bead and go through the next one. Okay, same thing here. I'm going to skip a bead, pick up 2, go through the next one. I'm picking up 2 more. Oops. And I'm going to lift this one up, go through the next one. And just doing that same step all the way around. And I've got a little tangle here. Sorry, guys. There we go. Okay. So again, 2 more. We'll lift up this bead and go through the next one. I'm going to pick up 2 more beads here. We'll lift this bead up, go through the next one. Okay. So these 2, they don't have one in between them. That's good. I'm just going to tighten everything up. And those 2 up beads, they'll move up naturally as the word gets tighter. There we go. Okay. So that's what you should have after you've done the first 2 steps, is this fan of 6 in row 2 around. And then you'll have 7 up beads. Oh, sorry, 6 up beads. There's 6 here. I miscounted there. And I'm going to switch back to my other one that has a longer strand, a longer working strand here. We left off in the same spot. Just going to fix my up beads there. Okay, so we're going to start row 3 now. To do that, you want to turn and go through the top hole of the Superduo we just added. And if it comes loose like mine, go ahead and pull there and just tighten it and hold. There we go. I'll put in a little more light here. That's a little better. All right. So I'm going to switch colors again, just so we can see the different rows. So with this next step, oh, it looks like, sorry guys, I didn't have, it looks like I didn't add 2 in between each of these guys. I need to fix that really quick. There should be 2 there. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go through here, turn and go through the top hole of the last one we added. I'm just fixing that up bead there. Okay. Now switching back to my other color. For this row, we're gonna switch and have 1 and then 2, 1 and then 2, and 1 and then 2. So the first fanned opening here is just going to have one Superduo bead in it. Okay, and then you're going to pick up 2 Superduo beads and go through the next fan. Okay, and pick up 1 Superduo bead, go through the next fan. Or I guess I could say arms, or I'm not sure what to call them. There's 2 more. I'm going through, just alternating 1 and 2. There's 2 more. Pick up 1. Okay, and then 1 more here. That's the tail thread. I'm just trying to keep him out of the way there. Okay, 2 more. This is a gorgeous copper color. I love this color with that metallic purple. Okay, and then 1. All right, and same as before, we're just going to turn through the top hole of the last Superduo bead that we added. And it's nice because it essentially joins those 2. Makes them tighten up a little bit. Okay, now we're going to do a row with just 1 Superduo bead in between each one. So I'm going to bring back that other color and just go through with 1. And this might take a minute, but if anyone has any questions, it's a great time because this is just the 1 bead between each Superduo all the way around. Let's do that really quickly.
Hi, Danielle. It's Carmi from John Bead.
Hey.
You're not getting any questions right now, so clearly you're making sense and everyone's following you along. Somebody just posted that they love your color choices.
Oh, thank you.
They would, and you also have a question, is your thread double or single?
Oh, single strand. Yeah, this one is worked on a single strand. When you thread it, you'll fold it over about 7 inches.
And you did get a question, how do you know what color thread to use for your projects?
Oh, I usually try to match it, except for when I'm doing the classes. Then I use black so everyone can see it. But there's other colors of wildfire. There's like a green, I think. There's a gray, there's white, and then there's this color. There may be others. Those are the ones I know about that I have. And I always just kind of go with whatever's one slightly darker shade than the bead I'm using.
Is there a clear thread?
They have a white one. It's clear-ish, but I think crystal would be the clearest one. That's not wildfire, that's fireline. But again, that looks just kind of like a frosty color to me. I'm not aware of any clear, but clear would be cool.
And maybe the last question for this part would be, how are you keeping your thread from not knotting?
Oh, yeah, so that does happen occasionally. What I like to do is just go a little slower. I'm one of those people that when I get to stitching, I start moving really fast, and it's tempting to go fast with this, but yeah, you'll get a knot if you start just like going to town, pulling those Superduos through. I'm not sure why. I mean, I guess you'll get an odd and all beading, but particularly with the Superduos, I think it's because they flip a little bit. But yeah, just going, you know, just a little bit slower helps a little bit. All right, so that was the last row of the fan. And so we are done adding Superduos. And now we just need to add the outside with size 6 seed beads. And then we'll show you guys how to do the center after that. These are my up beads. Sometimes they just kind of point down into the center, but I'm just gonna ignore them for now. Or try to, and being a perfectionist about them. So I'm switching to, let's see, this is Amethyst, and it's got almost like an AB finish to it. I think it's gonna be gorgeous. Let's check it out with this color. Oh yeah. It's a really earth tone kind of mode today. That's what my spirit's feeling. So this turn here is the same as the turn we did before. We just added this bead. We're exiting from the one we went through. I'm gonna turn and go through the top hole of that last bead. Oops, there we go. So this is the first size 6 seed bead. Just gonna go through the next Superduo bead here. And so one note about this step with tension, it's, you know, you don't want to pull too tight and try to, because it will dome a little bit, you know, it could start to do that. So just keep the tension a little bit light. And one great way to do that is to just have it on a flat surface while you're stitching. Okay. But this is a really fun one for any season, and you can personalize colors for family. It's a fast make, so it makes a great gift. But there's just something really great about the way Superduos lock that I find fun to create with. Okay, so this is the last one. And this is, again, that tail thread. I just keep moving the tail thread so that it's not in the way. Okay, so there's the fan done, essentially. I'm gonna set aside this working thread for now and add the chain as the very last step, but I wanna show you guys doing the center. So I'm grabbing another needle. I left the needle on the working thread that I had. This is the tail that we had when we started. I'm gonna flatten it. And try to thread this needle here. When back before the virus started, I used to teach in person. And what we do is we go around to each table and say, has everyone got their needle in? Okay, let me help you. We just walk around and help each other. There was always somebody with glasses or, you know, like a reading glasses that would help, or a magnifier. But we get there. And that one's good now. Okay. All right, so when we started, we did the first ring of Superduos. We crossed our thread through the last one. So my thread right now is exiting from one of the down beads. So you can see it's coming out of this down bead from this hole. I'm going to continue through the next down bead. That's the one that is an up bead here. So you see this is my up bead. And just going through the next one, through the bottom hole. Okay, and here's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to turn and go through the top hole. And I'm keeping the tension kind of just a little bit delicate there so that it doesn't warp. Now I'm grabbing some size 10 seed beads. If you've got 11s, that's totally fine. Use those. It actually works really great. These are 11s right here. So no worries. I like the 10s for video because they're just a little bigger and you can see them. So I picked up 3. So the top section, let me bring this one back here. The top section has 3. See, 3 of the small beads. And then each section thereafter is going to have 2. And I'm heading in the direction that crosses those top 2. So I'm adding 3 size 10s or size 11s and pulling, you know, snug, but not too snug. And there we go. So there's the first 3. And I'm going to spin this as I work a little bit. So now pick up 2, go through the next up bead, and pick up 2 more. And one of my up beads has gone down there in the center, but I'm just going to help him. There we go. Go through the next one. And 2 more here. Go through the next one. Two more through the next one. Okay. And 2 more here. And now I'm going to continue through all the beads again around. So just going, you know, not pulling too tight, just a little bit of tension, but not too much. Okay. All right, and so once you reach the last Superduo bead, I went through this last set of 2. Now I'm going to go through the next Superduo bead, the top hole, but I'm going to try not to go through the 10s that are there. And then I'm going to turn and go back down through that bottom hole of the same Superduo to get me back into the fan so I can weave in this thread and trim it. So that's what I'm doing here, going through the bottom hole. Now I'm going to continue through the next bead. And I'm going to keep going through the next one and the next one. And just weaving in, you know, maybe 1 more here. Then I'm going to change direction. And so this, for weaving in, really no rules. Whatever you like to do when you weave in threads or Superduos. What I like to do is if I've got the real estate to weave in, I'll do so without tying a knot. But this is such a quick make, tying knots, especially when we get to the sides. It can save you a lot of time and make it even sturdier for the chain part. When we do the beaded chain, you will see me knot for that part. But for this one, I think I'm just gonna weave it in. And that's all I'm doing here. To get your needle through Superduos that are tightly, you know, stacked or bricked like this, see, I'm kind of bending the word. It gets the Superduo in the position that you can get the needle through. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just trim that now. I think that's probably woven in pretty well. To trim it, I'm using these precision scissors. You can use any, you know, thread snips that you've got or a burner if you've got it. Push down, pull up. And there you go, that's trimmed. Okay. So now I'm switching back. I'm switching back to the thread we had before, which was the one that was exiting from that last size 6 bead we added. We're gonna make a chain. But I'm thinking before I do that, it's only 3:36. I have time to show, I can show you one more time how to do the top. Do you guys think that would be good to see? I'm just gonna untangle this really quick. right, I'm gonna unwind around my little card I made for myself earlier. Okay. So I've got this one ready. And it too is left off at the point where I was about to add the chain. But I'm gonna come along and thread this needle really quick. My last needle here. And going through this one here. Same as before. Hoping I got a good needle. Yay, I got a good needle, guys. Worked. Okay. And I was thinking, I was earlier today feeling some bright yellow, so Speed Racer yellow. And again, we're exiting from the first ring. We made the first ring and we crossed those threads over and pulled tight. I'm exiting from this bead, the bottom hole of that bead, which is the bottom here, this one. So I'm gonna go through one more bead. That puts me in this bead, right? So I'm bending it a little bit so I can see, so I can get in there. Go through one more bead here. Okay. And then I'm going to turn and go through the top hole of that same bead. Okay. So here I'm exiting from the top hole of the first up bead. I'm going to pick up 3 size 10 beads. These are size 10s here. But again, you can use 11s if you'd like. And then go through the next up bead. Now I'm going to go to 2 beads and go through the next one. Do that all the way around.
Danielle?
Yep.
You did get a question as to why you went to 2 beads after using 3.
Oh, I'm going to flip it over and show you. So when we built the original, each up bead only has 1 bead in between it, except for at the top. At the top of the fan here, there's 2 beads that don't have an up bead in between them.
That makes sense.
And so I just needed to bridge that gap a little bit. And there were different ways this could have, when I was working on designing it, I thought about maybe making it a complete circle, but I really wanted to have like a C shape, like a half moon. And so this was just one way to do that. The cool thing about Superduos though is if you sit and you play with them and you just start stitching, you will come up with stuff. You will just like, oh wow, that's cool. And then just keep going, because that's what I did. And the next thing you know, you have, you know, a puffy star, or you have a Deco fan. It's just, and it's all your own and very fun. Superduos are so cool. They really are. You can come up with so many things. And then share it, because I want to see. Okay, so I went through all the up beads with 2, 2, 2, and 3 at the top. And then of course, as before, we're just going to go all the way around it again. I'm just going to do that really fast. And let's see, 3. Actually, I'm thinking we saw me weave in. So unless somebody really wants to see the weaving in again, you'll see that for the chain. I might switch back to the other one so we can do chain. And there will be definitely, you know, there's going to be some questions about, oh, that step or this step. It's remembering all of this is going to be hard. So definitely refer to the PDF, because it'll give you the counts for each row and things like that. Even I looked at it this morning too. You just got to remember. Okay, so here's where we left off. We had just finished adding all 6 of these around. These, sorry, size 6 beads around. And now we're at the exit of the edge Superduo bead. So I'm going to pick up one more size 6 and a 10. And you'll just want to keep doing that until you reach the length that you'd like. I think earlier I found 1 inch was like 7 of these, if I remember correctly. I'm going from memory. Oh, you know what? I could even just do it right now. Let's find out. 1 inch. So there's how many there? Yeah, so there's about 6 or 7 will give you 1 inch. So if you want an 18-inch necklace, which is the length that I made the samples, you'd want to do 9 inches on each side. So I won't try to make a full length one here. But I'll make it enough that you can get the idea. And yeah, if you get one where, like what I just did, I accidentally put 2, hopefully, you know, you can either just say, you know what, it's style, or you can go back and fix it. Okay, and then end with one of these beads. And then I was going to show you guys some options for how to do your turn up here with your clasp. There's a couple of things you can do. I believe in the handout what I did is I just made a seed loop. But if you have, here's what the seed loop looks like. I used a Superduo bead in between the seed loop. Again, that's optional. You could just do a loop of beads out of the 6 here. You could just come up along here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, and come back down. And here's what that would look like. You can do that and put your jump ring in there. Or if you want, there's another idea.
Danielle, someone
Yes.
just mentioned that the lanyard that you taught them how to make would also be a great necklace to add.
Oh, for sure. That would be very beautiful. There's so many ideas that I had after I made the samples, you know, because it's one of those things where you make a bunch and then every time you make one, you have a new idea. And that's kind of what happened with this. I was even thinking, how cool would a Superduo chain be? Like you could come out, if I had it to do over, I think I would probably do that. You could add a 10 here, go through the Superduo, go around the other hole, add another 10, go through this, go through that one, come back up and go and just keep doing that. And then you would have a chain of Superduo beads that where they sit on their side, kind of like that one. And so that is another great idea, although this look with the chain like this is so cute. It's just simple little, you know, 10, 6, 10, 6. So really totally up to you, whatever you like. I would say play and see what you come up with. And you'll get something you like. Okay, and so I'm just undoing this because I want to show you guys the other way you could end this. So here I had added 4. Well, one cool thing about doing this method is you can reinforce it without having to go all the way back down and all the way back up your chain. Because on a long chain, it'll take a while to do that. You'll have to add thread a bunch of times. But if you add a little Superduo bead, you can use it as a turning point so you can go through your closure more than one time without having to go all the way back up and down the chain. So I thought, well, I'll just show you that here because it's handy. And I'm going to do it with a contrasting color so it really stands out. But I just added 2 size 10 beads. And now I'm going to add 2 more. And then 2 more again. If you're using a clasp that doesn't have an open and closed jump ring, add it now. But I'm going to just throw a jump ring on this later, so I'm going to keep going. And go back down through the Superduo. And so here's the magic I was talking about. Tighten that there. Sorry, there you go. Now come back up through the Superduo. And it will tighten up with your chain. You see how it's cinched up there? Go back through all 4 of those beads again. And go back through the bottom there. There we go. Go through the other side of the Superduo. Okay. Pick up 2 more size 10s and go back through the 6. Keep going all the way down. And there you go. So you can put a jump ring right there, and it's already been reinforced. And I could have reinforced that a third time too, but this is 0.06 wildfire. It's pretty strong, and the fan is really light. So I felt like it was strong enough, and that's what I did on this version. And I've been wearing it for several days, and it is fine. It hasn't stretched. It's been really strong. So I'd recommend that. And then on the other side, you can add a little charm to it. This is a little rose charm. It came with a cactus. It was really cute. You could put 2 charms. The longer chain, make it adjustable. Okay, so I just want to show you the weaving in part. So I'm coming back down this chain. Pretend that I made that really long. And this is the only time consuming part of the build, really. You go down through there. So going down to the last 6. Okay. And now go ahead and continue through the Superduo. And we're going to go all the way around. Now in the handout, it says to cut 55 inches of thread. And if you did that and you did all of this build with that, you'd get to about here and you'd start to need to weave in and start a new strand. So just be prepared when you're building your actual necklace that you'll need to do a tie off and trim. So I think I'll show you that now just so it makes sense later. So I went through a 6. And I'm going to go through another Superduo. And this is where we can take advantage of the fact that the Superduos have a smaller internal hole diameter than the 6. What we can do is go through and pick up your thread. So I'm kind of thread bridging here. I'm picking up the thread bridge there. Everyone can see that. Going under and pull until I have a small loop. Go back through the loop. Try not to get your chain in there. Here we go. Pull tight. And there you go, 1/2 hitch knot. Now go through the 6 and the next Superduo. And then loop around, thread again, just like we did before. I'm staying above the Superduo and behind the 6. Sometimes I even hold it. So you kind of using my thumbnail to pinch that 6. Pull till you have a smaller loop. Go through the loop and tighten. And now go ahead and go through a few more beads. I'm just gonna keep going through like, I don't know, those. And that should be good enough. You can trim it. And so now we're at a spot where, oh, I gotta do the other side. So what I would do is, just to keep it uniform, we know we ended over here. I'm gonna start my weave-in over here. Okay, and pull through. You don't need to leave a tail here because we're gonna trim that right away. So go through one more Superduo. And now do the same thing we did before. Coming up above that Superduo, the knot will not go through the Superduo bead. It will sit really tightly there. So even with just that, it's movable, but only just. Go through one more 6, one more Superduo. Go through here. And then turn and go through the loop, knot. And then I always like to test it. So I know I just did my weave in there. I'm gonna test and see if it moves. Do you see my tail over here? I'm gonna pull and see if it's moving. And it's not. So I feel confident that I can go ahead and trim now. Here we go. Okay, and so all you have to do now is just keep going through. And when I get to the top, we're gonna repeat on this side what we did on the other side. And it looks like 351. I should be able to get through at least the first part of that. Okay, I'm gonna go a little faster here because I want to show you guys next week's project. I'm excited about that one. This class flew by. I feel like it went really fast. Okay, one more here. Okay, so I'm on this side now, same as before. I'm gonna pick up a 6, 10, 6 and a 10, 6 and a 10. And I would just keep going. 6 and a 10. And then make that 2 10s here. Go through a Superduo bead. Go through 2, 3, 4 more 10s. Add 4 more 10s. And go down through there. And I'm kind of holding the Superduo when I pull to get it tighter. And it will tighten the chain too when you do that. Turn and go up. Reinforcing all 4 of these. Coming back down. And if you wanted to, you could go back and do that another time. But I actually think it's okay not doing that. It's so light. Like I was saying before, this design is not a heavy design. And then come down through here. I added 2 size 10s here. And I'm going to go through the 6 all the way through the chain. Go through the Superduo and the next 6. So through the Superduo, the next 6, and then you'll just go ahead and weave in and knot like we did before. So just go through 6 Superduo, do a knot here, go through this one, knot here, and then trim. And you got it. So let's see, I see there might be some questions, so I'm gonna go ahead and switch up here and say hi. And see if anyone has questions about any of that. I feel like I breezed through it like really fast, but.
Danielle, people would love to see the original again.
The original? Yeah, okay. Let me switch back here. Maybe I'll show you guys that one. So these colors are, starting with the 6-0 mix. It's called Amber. I have it here, let me grab it. I think it might be my favorite mix. I mean, it's hard to choose a favorite. There's too many really beautiful ones. But it's made from amber. And I did some kind of pattern here with the chain. I was just playing. And then down here, I focused on ombreing from the dark to the lighter for my 6-0 beads going around. The beads that are in this top part are the same beads that are right here. They are the, let me get you the number. The Iris Brown. And actually, I just realized they're in the handout. This colorway has all the part numbers, all the Michaels, SKU numbers in the handout. They're on the last page, so you should be able to find it. But it's lava. And then I used a Superduo mix that has a bunch of kind of metallic bronzes in it. There's some that look kind of purple and some that look like more of a matte gold. But that's pretty much it. Yeah, same process and beautiful colors. It's got 0.006 wildfire in it. I used one of those charms that came when their new charm along packs. And yeah, it's 18 inches long. And I think it's my favorite piece of jewelry right now. I've been wearing it for just like every day for the last week. Not really going anywhere, just wearing it because I like it. So here, I'm gonna switch back. And oh, actually, before I switch back, I want to show next week's project. So we've got 5 minutes. I'm going to do that really quick. Next week, I'm going to do a pendant. And I'm calling it a puffy star because it looks like a star to me. It's essentially a locket. It doesn't open and close. I was trying to think of a way of how can I hinge this and make it open, but I couldn't figure out a way to do that. But it is hollow inside. So you could put a little treasure like a beach rock or a little stone, maybe like a chakra stone in there if you wanted to. And the chain, you can use any chain you want. All we do is we just run it through, see how it's movable. But yeah, it's made in 2 pieces. You make a top and you make a bottom, and then we stitch them together. It's really easy. My son really wants a purple one. He told me I need to make a purple one for him. Yeah. So let's see, I'm gonna switch back. There you go. And so yeah, if there's any other questions, I can show you guys the bracelet.
Yes, please.
we've got the bracelet coming up, the last class of the month, which is a button bracelet. The button is made in a very similar, a little bit different stitch counts, but in a really similar way to the pendant. Really fun. This is a really fun one. It's one that I'll show you the stitch for how to make the bracelet. It's stacked up Superduos and size 8 seed beads. So you'll need some 8s for these. And then it uses a little bit of 10s. It uses a 6 here, and then 2 colors of Superduo. 2 or more. You can use as many as you like. But a minimum of 2 would be great for contrast. Yeah.
Danielle, for some reason, everyone wants to see the necklace on you.
Oh, okay. I have to find it. Where did I put it? I hid it from myself. I'm really bad at getting lobster claws on lately. There's something about getting those to work. But this one is, like I said before, about 18 inches long. So each strand, I made each strand 9 inches long. And it's got the same, you know, kind of colors as the earrings we did that I had from last week. And all these colors are in the handout. Ooh, dropped that, sorry guys. But yeah, this one, same colors. So I'm excited, everyone likes these projects. These are really fun. I just encourage everybody to try your ideas when you get the Superduos at home. Just see what happens. Make a loop and start stitching on it and see what you come up with. You'll be so surprised how cool. There's ideas out there that no one's thought of yet. They're just waiting for someone to think of them. And Superduos have been out a while, and you still see new stuff. You still see new ideas. So yeah, definitely one of my top favorite beads out there.
Danielle, I think the greatest compliment you got today is someone said you finally made them realize they could work with the Superduo bead.
Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, it's one of the coolest ways to start making, you know, a bead weaving pattern, because there's just a lot of ideas that you can have with them. So I'm glad to have encouraged you on that. Thank you for the compliment.
I think that's it.
Well, okay. Well, that was an easy one. There's like almost no questions. I thought this was going to be more challenging to explain, but that's really cool. So I guess we'll see you guys back next week for pendants. Let's make pendants next week. And we'll try, there's going to be many new colors, I promise. My son's been choosing them. He wants the bright purple. He's very excited about the bright purple color, this one. It's his jam. He made me make this one today. So I'll surprise you guys next week with some very bright ones. All right. Oh, I see someone holding up one of theirs. Oh, that's a gorgeous color. I love your colorway, Roxanne. That's really nice. And Loretta, I see yours too. Oh, you made a necklace like with the white. That's very cool. I love that one.
Beautiful.
Wow, I wondered, Loretta, did you do that during class? That's bonus. Okay, that's really cool. Oh, you guys have made my day. Really, yeah. Oh, and that's a gorgeous star, Roxanne. That's really great. Awesome. Well, you guys are really great students. I'm having so much fun with this. Thank you for being here, and I'm wishing you all a really great week.